The idea, the kernel for the story has been quite a while. It was a couple of years in the making to come together to figure out, what the story really was and what it really meant and how it had to be told. So once Widmac had in his mind how the story should be told, I think the script came together fairly quickly with a collaboration between Bernier Shackleton and Richard Widmac. And it was a tremendous effort. And what was great about this particular script is that you had a script that was written with a great story, with great dialogue, but because the director had a big part in the writing, because he was a co-writer, he was writing it for the movie. He was writing it for the actors. So it was very easy for the actors to come in and assume the role because it was written for them. I love Richard Widmark. I'll tell you why. I met him at one of the meet and greet groups that we belong to, a professional group of editors. It's a society where we meet and exchange ideas. And one day, Widmac shows up with his film. Now, all these guys are showing up. All they do is talk about editing and movies and how great they are. But this guy shows up with a feature film and puts it down and says, "You can watch my movie." I said, "That guy's all right." So I went home and I watched the movie. And I found it was a terrific movie. This was a movie called Struggle. This is one of the first ones that this guy had done. This is many years ago. 5, 6, 7, 8, I forget. Anyway, I said, here's a guy who can get things done. He's a director, he's a writer, he's an actor, he's in the movie. I said, the next film that I get that I'm going to do, I want Richard to be a part of that. So we talked and became friends, and we came up with a short film to work on. My particular film was called Subscription, and Richard agreed in a minute, "Yes, I'll help you on this film." He came in knowing everything that he wanted to do. That was tremendous. That was a big help to me. We had great acting talent. We had a great story. And we had a great guy who not only could work the camera, but also help in direction. So anyway, we became very good friends, worked on a few other projects together, including the next big feature film that he did, which was called Everybody Cheats. So Richard had been working on this film, A Child's Dream, which he just was about to complete. And I went to the premiere, fantastic film, very well received. And we began work on it immediately because he doesn't skip a beat, right? Immediately we start working on another project. It was a little short project, a short film called Everybody Cheats. And, we assembled some actors and we, got some locations and we made a nice little short film. And then Richard said, no, this is a feature. We're doing a feature. I said, really? Yeah, we're going to do it. So we assembled the forces, put the actors together and said, we're going to make a feature film. And sure enough, Richard said, wait a minute. I think we need a Haitian lead for this film. And I think I know just who that should be. I said, who's that? Miss Haiti, 2012. I said, Miss Haiti, what are you, out of your mind? She's not going to do this. Let's ask her. So we asked her if she would be interested in the film, and sure enough, she was interested. So we assembled really a great team. Anyway, fast forwarding on to after the success of Everybody Cheats, as this film came together, The Island Between Our Love, this was the classic Romeo and Juliet. This was the classic, the what do they call it? The Hatfields and the McCoys. This was that, that struggle between the love of the two people and then the counter forces of their family. But this time, it was bigger than just the family. It involved an island. It involved two countries, and it involved two people very much in love. So what I loved about the script, the approach, the actors, the feeling is that we had actual Hispanic actors, we had actual Haitians in the film, and we together worked to show that it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what language you speak. We have Creole, Spanish, French, and English in the film. But everybody on set got along, and the story proves that love conquers all. That's the big message. And when you see it, you will know what I mean. And it's hard not to be touched by this kind of a story. It's classic, it's enduring, and it goes all the way back to the beginning of man, of civilization. When I think about this film, The Island Between Our Love, and we describe it as that love story, that Romeo and Juliet and the feuding families and so forth, and you pick an island where Haiti is on one side and the Dominican Republic is on the other side, and you say, well, these two countries have their differences, they have their prejudices, they have their problems. Oh, that's isolated to the Caribbean. No, it's everywhere. This is the story of our civilization, where countries, because of differences, find reasons to disagree. And what this film does is help us to find reasons to agree, to find common ground, to live and coexist together in peace. That's a very powerful message. Not for one small little island, not for two little countries, not for the two people in the film, but representative of our whole world and what we need to do today. Big story. It's a big story. Richard and I have a very easy relationship because we both know what needs to be done, and we both know that we try to do as best we can to accomplish it, but we need help. We can't do everything ourselves. So we lean on and rely on each other to provide solutions so that we can come up with the best production values to tell the story. But there's more to the story than just me and Richard directing and running cameras and so forth. It takes an entire team of dedicated individuals. But see, it comes from relationships. We're independent filmmakers. We don't have huge budgets. We don't have all kinds of expense accounts, and we can't attract all of the best talent and pay union wages. We just cannot do it. That doesn't stop us from the desire to make a film. So what do? We create relationships of like-minded people, people that have the same kinds of hopes and desires that we do. Maybe they're not at the same level. Maybe they haven't had the experience to be a director, or maybe they haven't had the experience to be a cinematographer. So there's a kind of a value proposition in what we do. As we create these relationships and we bring people in, they accept certain amount of responsibility. But in return for that, they get invaluable experience that they can take to the next set. That as their talents are honed, and as they become better, either actors, gaffers, grippers, sound people, what have you, all the different roles that they need to fulfill, as they become more and more professional, they can walk into that next opportunity with full confidence and if there's a budget for the film, obviously get paid for their services. And I think that's where that value proposition comes in, and that's what we've been able to do successfully with our network and our friends. Yeah, I always try to think about, my motivation when I do this. I don't know why I have the passion to make films, and I don't know why I want to tell stories, and I don't know why I want to make beautiful images and create something where there was nothing. But it excites me. It's something that gets me up in the morning, gets me out of bed, gets me to do things, gets me to work for hours, whether it's editing or or filming or showing up on set or moving all kinds of equipment because we don't have people to move it for us. We got to do it. See, here's the thing. We get film after film these days because of the tax credits coming through Boston. They're big budget films, multi 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, even $100 million films, even X-Men or all these films coming through Boston. They come in, they bring the actors, the trucks show up, the equipment shows up, the movie's done, the actors leave, the equipment goes, end of story, until the next film. And as a result, unlike Hollywood, unlike New York or some of the other film centers, we don't have a very deep infrastructure to take from. Okay, we are at the very, very beginnings of sophisticated filmmaking in Boston. There are more and more people interested. We are starting to see better and better talent. There are more and more resources to tap, but we're not there yet. So it's almost like kind of being a pioneer. But some people say, well, if you like to make films, why don't you just go to Hollywood? If that's what you want to do, you'll get a job there. I don't like Hollywood. I like Boston. I like my people. I want to tell my story. This is Bostonwood. And in fact, when we were in Mattapan, it was Mattywood. We don't need to go to Hollywood. We're making our own thing. So while it's kind of a very young industry in Massachusetts, there are enough like-minded people like myself, like Woodmac, like several other people that are willing to take the plunge, go out there, make the investment in equipment and time and effort to produce good things. So I see it coming to Massachusetts. I think it's great. I think people like Woodmac and myself making films, promoting the industry, working, networking, I think we're going to see some results. That's all. I think we're going to be very surprised. And you never know when that next film, somebody makes the film, it's just a small film, and they go, that's a great film. All of a sudden, writers in the area start getting excited because, hey, wait a minute, a great film came from the grassroots of Boston. Didn't come from Hollywood, didn't come from some other place, didn't come from Europe, came from here. And one more thing about The Island Between Our Love. Think about how fantastic that this is, where Haitian immigrants, Dominican immigrants here in Massachusetts, right here in Boston, creating and telling stories, whether they're about their home country or whether they're about incidents and things that happen right here, that are global in scope, that are meaningful. It's a big deal. We're doing that now. And that's a lot more than the popcorn and bubblegum stuff that they're producing out of Hollywood. So